In the year 2000, an anonymous man appeared on internet forums claiming he was a time traveler from 2036 with a mission to save the world. He warned of coming wars, showed schematics of a time machine, and made predictions that still unsettle people today. His name was John Titor, a time traveler who also inspired one of the greatest anime ever, Steins Gate.
And decades later, people are still asking the same question. Are we heading toward the future he warned us about?
Time travel has fascinated people for centuries, inspiring movies and unforgettable stories. From H.G. Wells to Doctor Who, Terminator, Star Trek, and 12 Monkeys, time travel has captured our imagination. Later on, when the internet arrived, countless claims of time travelers appeared online. Most faded away quickly, but a few stood out, with details that made people stop and wonder what was really possible.
So, let's fire up our flux capacitor. We're diving into the intriguing story of John Titor, the most compelling time traveler story the internet has ever seen.
Greetings. I am a time traveler from the year 2036. I am on my way home, getting an IBM 5100 computer system from the year 1975. My time machine is a stationary mass, temporal displacement unit manufactured by General Electric. The unit is powered by two top-spin, dual-positive singularities that produce a standard offset, Tipler sinusoid. I will be happy to post pictures of the unit.
While most of the discussion unfolds between 2000 and 2001, starting with his first post on the Time Travel Institute forum, the story truly begins 2 years earlier. In 1998, a mysterious fax was sent to the late Art Bell, the iconic host of Coast to Coast AM, a radio show renowned for its focus on the paranormal.
Please let me explain. Time travel was invented in 2034. Offshoots of certain successful fusion reactor research allowed scientists at CERN to produce the world's first contained singularity engine. The basic design involves rotating singularities inside a magnetic field. By altering the speed and direction of rotation, you can travel both forward and backward in time. Time itself can be understood in terms of connected lines. When you go back in time, you travel on your original timeline. When you turn your singularity engine off, a new timeline is created due to the fact that you and your time machine are now there. In other words, a new universe is created. To get back to your original line, you must travel a split second farther back and immediately throw the engine into forward without turning it off. You can alter history in the new universe that you have just created. Interestingly, when you travel in time, you must compensate for the orbit of the Earth. Since the time machine doesn't move, you have to adjust the engine so you remain on the planet when you turn it off. Unfortunately, it was also discovered that anyone going forward in time from my 2036 hit a brick wall in the year 2564. Everyone who has ever been there has reported that nothing exists. When the machine is turned off, you find yourself surrounded by blackness and silence. Now, most time travelers are trying to find out where the line went bad by going into the past, creating a new universe, and proceeding forward to see if the same thing results in 2564. It appears the line went bad around the year 2000. I'm here now, in this time, to test a few theories of mine before going forward. Please pray that we discover the reason why there is no apparent future after 2564.
John Titor.
Online forums were set ablaze for years by the astonishing claims of John Titor. He said he was a soldier from the year 2036, assigned to a government time travel program, and claimed knowledge of events decades before they happened. Some terrifying, some astonishing. His mission involved traveling back to 1975 to retrieve an IBM 5100 model, and stopped briefly in the year 2000 before returning to his timeline to fix a future time wall in 2564. To support his story, Titor referenced the many worlds interpretation and shared information, schematics, and images of his time machine. He claimed that traveling to the past created a new timeline, meaning events could unfold differently from his own timeline. Forum users were eager to hear about the future, and Titor offered detailed predictions from his timeline, hoping to prevent similar outcomes. Titor claimed the United States would experience severe civil unrest during the 2005 elections, leading to a civil war that would end in 2015 and divide the country into 4 regions. Titor painted a dystopian future for humanity, with widespread disorder, societal collapse, World War III, and nuclear conflict devastating the world. None of this came true, at least not in our timeline, though his supporters argue that the current growing political division and dangerous geopolitical events reflect parts of his predictions. He also accurately predicted future technological developments, including internet video sharing, decentralized communications, and mobile internet access. Such concepts were uncommon or even imaginable in 2000. If Titor was not a time traveler, he clearly understood where technology was heading. Sure, some predictions did not come true, at least not in the way Titor described. Still, the inaccuracies can be explained through his interpretation of time travel, the multiverse, the Everett Wheeler interpretation of quantum physics. So, despite a nuclear war never occurring, Titor's followers believe his appearance and warnings altered the timeline, delaying or even preventing that catastrophe, among others. It all became possible after the CERN Institute in Geneva created and contained microsingularities in 2001. Now, CERN has never reported any such phenomena. Even if such objects were ever created, theory predicts they would evaporate almost instantly due to Hawking radiation, and would not behave as stable singularities, capable of enabling time travel or large-scale space-time distortion. However, speculative theories in physics suggest that tiny quantum black holes could form during high-energy particle collisions under very specific conditions, such as the existence of extra dimensions. Titor described a multiverse, an idea that was not widely accepted in 2000 and remained largely theoretical. While still unproven today, it is now taken more seriously as a possible interpretation within quantum mechanics. He also explained that his machine required precise calibration because Earth is constantly moving through space. Time travel therefore involves movement through space as well as time, a concept that astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson explained in this video.
If you have a time machine, you say, I got to go back to tomorrow because I made a mistake. If you go back to tomorrow and that's all you did, you would land in empty space because Earth has moved since yesterday. So every time machine has to also be a space machine. It has to be a space-time machine so that you go back in time and space to get back to the location, which is the incident you want to relive. I describe the time machine as taking you everywhere and every when.
Titor described his time machine in detail across many forum posts, claiming it included the following components: 2 magnetic housing units for dual micro-singularities, an electron injection manifold to alter the mass and gravity of the singularities, a cooling and X-ray venting system, gravity sensors, also referred to as a variable gravity lock system, 4 main cesium clocks, 3 primary computer units. He also provided photographs and schematics, stating that the device was installed in the rear of a 1966 Chevrolet Corvette convertible. Of course, it had to be a car.
There are 2 singularities in the unit. The gravity field is manipulated by 3 factors that affect it in distinct ways. Adding electric charge to the singularities increases the diameter of the inner event horizons. Adding mass to the singularities increases the area of gravitational influence around the singularities. Rotating and positioning the polar axis of the singularities affects and alters the gravity sinusoid, the variable gravity lock system. This problem is actually the most difficult part of time travel. Although some of your assumptions about matter displacement are a bit off, the problem is real. Inside the displacement unit are a series of very sensitive clocks and gravity sensors. This system is called the VGL, Variable Gravity Lock. The computer system is connected to the unit through an electrical bus. There are actually 3 computers linked together that take the same signals from the gravity sensors and clocks. They use a border error correcting protocol that checks the integrity of the data and trips the VGL system. In a sense, you do dial in a date, and the computer system controls the distortion field. At maximum power, the unit I have is capable of traveling about 10 years an hour. The C204 begins to break away at about 60 years. This means the level of confidence drops rapidly after 60 years of travel, and the world line divergence increases. In other words, if I wanted to go back 2,000 years and meet Christ, there is a better than average chance I would end up on a world line where he was never born. I would equate the future GE distortion units to their current jet engines. The first one worked great, but they can always make it better. The C204 unit uses 4 cesium clocks. The C206 uses 6 cesium clocks, but they use an optical system to check the oscillation frequency. This makes the world line divergence confidence much higher. The unit has a ramp-up time after the destination coordinates are fed into the computers. An audible alarm and a small light start a short countdown, at which point you should be secured in a seat. Outside, the vehicle appears to accelerate as the light is bent around it. We have to wear sunglasses or close our eyes as this happens due to a short burst of ultraviolet radiation.
The story may seem utterly absurd, but what comes next makes it stop feeling like fiction and start feeling uncomfortably real. The computer John Titor was after was the IBM 5100, first introduced in 1975, claiming it had special capabilities for his timeline.
We need the system to debug various legacy computer programs in 2036. Unix has a problem in 2038.
Titor here makes a reference to the UNEX Year 2038 problem, a formatting bug similar to Y2K, which at the time was not widely known outside a small circle of computer scientists. The IBM 5100 supported both BASIC and APL programming languages, a fact later confirmed by Bob Dubke, one of the designers of the model, who said it was kept quiet to protect IBM's competitive edge. What made Titor's story extraordinary was that he spoke about technical details few others could understand, sharing knowledge that wasn't publicly available. It quickly became clear he wasn't making things up, instead referencing real computing concepts decades before most people had even heard of them. And with that, people began to wonder that maybe John Titor wasn't just acting, but had access to knowledge that shouldn't have been available at the time, whether through insider experience, an unusually deep technical background, or, as he claimed, time travel itself. As a result, the mystery shifted. Less about whether his predictions came true, and more about how he knew so much in the first place. The Tipler's cylinder is a hypothetical, massive, rapidly rotating cylinder that under certain restrictions could be used for time travel. Titor often mentioned the Tipler sinusoid, which is the space-time distortion generated by the cylinder. With a Tipler cylinder, a spacecraft can theoretically accelerate in the appropriate direction and time travel into the past. The problem with Titor's theories is practicality. Titor never provided the exact engineering details, and the cylinder itself would require impossible conditions, like extreme density, infinite length, and energy levels far beyond anything humanity can produce.
"私は2036年から来たんだ。私がタイムトラベラー。ジョン・タイターだよ。
Titor's story remains one of the most intriguing internet mysteries ever. In the extraordinary event that this story is real, John Titor is then both the creator and the savior of our universe. Titor's goal wasn't just to be believed. He warned about the fragility of modern societies and how quickly they can collapse under pressure. Even if it seemed unlikely to change anything, he wanted people to listen. Still, none of what he presented was enough to verify his claims. The information he shared was impressive, but extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And that's where Titor fell short. He never provided proof. That said, the fact that he described himself as a soldier suggests another possibility. He could not provide such proof and only knew what someone in his role would need to know. His mission wasn't about warning other timelines, but about securing the technology of his own. By coming to the past, he created a new timeline, a new universe. Our universe. The one where the catastrophic events he described were either avoided or just delayed, perhaps because of his warning, or just his presence. History in our timeline unfolded differently. John Titor vanished in March 2001, but over time, he became one of the internet's greatest mysteries ever. His story drew people towards science and awareness, and inspired the masterpiece anime series Steins Gate. He didn't prove time travel was real. Physics allows many things on paper that reality forbids. Allowing something mathematically isn't the same as building it. His story respected science just enough to feel plausible, while stepping past it where proof was required. Titor didn't convince people that time travel was possible, but reminded them how much they wanted it to be. And maybe that's the real takeaway. Not that time travelers walk among us, but that the present is the only place where anything can actually be changed. There's no wall at the end of time. Just now, moving forward.